Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Okay, it's the same truck here. That should be 3/4 ton, 2500. Yeah, I've been putting air in this tire, and yeah, I noticed after a couple of days the thing's low on air, sitting there. So I decided to wash it all down and soap it all up, and I soaped everything, and yeah, go figure, bead leak. And I'm almost willing to place a bet that they use bead sealer on, which I find that stuff is garbage, but especially when you put them on new rims, and it seems to create a problem. Like my son's had that problem, I've had that problem, my friend had that problem. You get brand new rims, put brand new tires on, they put that bead sealer on, and within a year, you got a bead leak, or less than that. I don't know what the problem is, whether they put the bead sealer on the rim, and then they put your soapy or whatever solution they use for slipping the tire on, but it tends to create a problem anyway. And I don't know why they bother. The only time, like I got the bead sealer here, and yes, I have used it in the past, but that's on an extremely pitted rim where you kind of tear the bead a little bit, getting it off to patch it or something. And that's the only time I find bead sealer actually works. You're trying to seal up an imperfection like that, but not the whole thing. And to top it off, now it's bad enough taking away a wheel to get the bead sealer off the rims, but then you're trying to get it off the tire so it actually seals. But I find I've had the best luck with using this Murphy lube. This is what I use all the time. This Murphy's tire and tube mounted compound. It actually conditions the rubber. And I always wipe down the tires like the bead and let it sit there for a while. It actually conditions the rubber. And I've even had tractor tires where they're all rusty, and once I clean that rust off, and I just wipe it down with this stuff, and it kind of conditions the rubber, and it just slips right on and it seals. So I don't know what some of these tire shops' problem is. Yeah, this here, when I had the tires put on, yeah, I'm thinking, I have no idea if there's bead sealer in it, but get this though. Here's another problem child. I don't know if you guys can actually see this. I'll try to focus, come on. Okay, the big weights, you got two big weights, 2.5 ounces, so that's 5 ounces. And then you got two little weights, another 1/2 ounce each. So that's 6 ounces on this side, say the valve stem. We'll put that on the top of the tire, for instance. And we'll go to the other side here. And on the bottom tire, you got two more 2.5 ounce weights and a 3/4 ounce weight, so it almost counteracts itself, and it's on the bottom of the rim. I don't understand it. Like half the time I don't even bother, I put my own tires on for the most part, and but I've never had a real shimmy shake without even balancing, because I do a lot of gravel road driving, so the aggressive treads, they pick up rocks, they kind of self-balance, I found. But yeah, just a short little time. But look where all the bead leaks are, and right around the weights, but that means the aluminum rim corroded because it was letting moisture in with that bead sealer because it doesn't seat properly. So I don't know, I'll let the air out of it, because I just aired it back up here and see if that changed anything, but apparently it didn't. So I guess I'll just let the air out of it, and we'll break the bead and we'll see if there's bead sealer in here, and then do the whole cleanup and put her back together again, because I soaked down the rest thinking maybe I might have picked up a nail or a screw or something like that on the road last time I used the truck, but nope. This is the only place, and that's enough to make it, after a couple of days, to be low on air. Started off like through the winter there, and then all of a sudden, halfway through the winter, all of a sudden the tire's almost flat, so you'd air it up again just so it doesn't screw up the tire. But yeah, that's what's going on here. Okay, well, I guess I'll shut this off, and I don't think you guys need to hear the air screaming out of here. I'll let the air out and get set up on the tire machine. We'll break the bead there and see what we find. Okay, I can pretty much guess it's got bead sealer on, because anytime I run into that problem, you have a heck of a time breaking the bead on this, even with a tire machine. And yeah, I just squirted put some little bit of soapy water in there, and yeah, I got the Murphy lube, but for just taking them off the rim, I'll just use soapy water. But kind of forewarning you, the rest is probably going to cut in, but yeah. Just doesn't want to pry it off the bead because that stuff just bonds in there, except when you get your corrosion. And now we've got the tire stuck on there. So, but it's always a typical fight on my hands every time I deal with the bead sealer. Oh, maybe. There we go. Alright, I'll let the compressor cut out and I'll bring you back. I'll do the other side here. Okay, I finally got the beads broken while the compressor was running. I didn't want you guys to have to listen to that the whole time, but yeah, all these lead weights, like there's no reason to have like basically 6 ounces on one side and 5 3/4 ounces on the opposite side, just on the back side, like directly opposite. Like there's no reason for that much weight. There's obviously whoever did it has no idea what they're doing, but so I'm just peeling them off. Like I said, the tires are already getting wore down, but still lots of tread left on them yet. But otherwise, yeah, I'll just take a wire wheel and clean these things up. But yeah, like just pretty much exactly the opposite side. Like, because here's the valve stem. They have like all that weight on there, and here's directly, because the valve stem is right opposite here. So there's no reason to have that amount of weight exactly opposite from each other, but I don't want to break my ear off on the tire machine with these weights coming around, because these are heavy duty tires, and I don't need to break the tire machine on it, but I've never had so much trouble getting these. Mind you, these have been on for like 5-6 years. Yeah, I save all my wheel weights. Maybe I'll take them in for scrap one day when I get enough of them. I think you pay you for them. But yeah, the lead weights, might as well hang on to them. Otherwise, maybe I'll think about melting them down or something. Well, let's see if I can actually hoist this tire up onto the tire machine here. Because it's kind of a bit of a heavy Brutus here. Or kind of tilt you guys up a little bit. And we'll see if we can kind of get you up on top of there so I can see what we're dealing with. Holy shit! Whew. Put bead sealer on here, else I just put soapy water or something on there. I don't know what they used yet. I guess I'll find that out soon enough. I'm just gonna get this thing kind of set up, and I'm gonna see if I can. Oh, I need to eat my Wheaties for these tires. Oh, well, he's gonna give it some. You know, maybe I'm gonna give it a little bit better. Whoa! Sorry, guys. You guys just about got clobbered there. I'm gonna put some of this little bit of Murphy lube on there. I don't really need to get soapy water in there because I don't want it to corrode the rim after the fact. So. Well, we'll see what that does for me. Actually put a dent in my floor. I just managed to catch between the legs on the tripod here. Okay. See if that's gonna get this thing off of here. Oh, there we go. These things are heavy tires, if you ask me. Oh. Okay, are you gonna stay there? Probably not. Oh, there we go. And we go put a little tiny bit of soapy water on there. There we go. Yeah, these heavy-duty tires are no fun to deal with. Kind of wish I had a bigger tire machine, but yeah, it is what it is. You deal with what you got. Okay, well, see if I ripped up my bead a little bit. Nope, we're good on that. Okay. I'll see. Nah. Yeah, you can see all the corrosion. Because I just find that they just use soapy water or whatever, you get all this corrosion and aluminum. And I find using this Murphy's lube, I've had tires sitting on for 5-10 years and they go to peel them off, I don't have the corrosion. And I'm thinking it's kind of where they had so many weights on here tucked around, I think it was getting rust jacking from the steel clips on the weights. So yeah, I guess I'm gonna just kind of take this off to the side here, and I'll go clean this thing off and off camera there, clean up the tire and put a new valve stem on there too, because they didn't even use a high pressure valve stem, and these ones are really wiggly and it's starting to crack a little bit. So I'm going to put a high pressure valve stem on. Yeah, so we'll get this cleaned up and then we'll start putting her back together. Bring you back in a bit. Okay, let's try this again. All of a sudden the thing snapped a picture and all of a sudden it cut off the video. But so I just use battery terminal cleaner. It just nicely fits inside the hole here, and I clean it out, make sure that's clean, because that's definitely a source of a slow leak. But yeah, I got this side cleaned off. I still got to finish cleaning this side off. So I'll just set you guys up and I'll just get that other side cleaned off. But yeah, even on the front side of the rim where the weights were, because it just had massive corrosion along the top here. Right, and of course that's the whole. So I've cleaned that off, so yeah, it doesn't look quite as bad now, but I'm not putting the weights back on. There's no point, because considering the weights are counteracting itself, so it wasn't doing anything. It only probably needed maybe half an ounce to begin with on one side. Yeah, let's get you set back up here, and we'll just get that one partially cleaned off there, and then we should be ready to go again. Yeah, I just throw some blocks underneath my rim here, and I'll kind of set it up where I got my valve stem, and then kind of go all the way around, because even I just clean this lip off of here. Oh, shit, I missed the spot. I'm just gonna take a screwdriver here, and there's one spot's got a little bit of corrosion kind of sunk in there. I can't quite get at it. There, because apparently with those clip-on weights, they're supposed to be a special weight. They're coated so they don't corrode. But just for the fact they're just plain metal with the clips with lead weights, and of course it gets the salt and the dissimilar metals with those metal clips. Because normally you put the sticky on weights on the inside here, but they put those ones on, which I'm guessing the other tires I'm probably gonna have the same issues there. But anyways, so I got her all cleaned up here now, and I see I should take a little bit more off of here. It's got a little bit of some of that corrosion stuff peeled. Yeah, like I was saying, I just use these battery terminal cleaners to clean out the valve stem hole, because if you don't clean them out, well, that's, if you got any corrosion buildup on it, that's going to be a source of a leak. So anyways, I guess I'll just get set back up and get this tire mounted back up. I guess gotta put my valve stem on, and of course I've got the high pressure valve stems, so that way I don't have an issue with it. So I'll get you set back over by the tire machine again, and we'll carry on with this. Alright, get this rim back on here. Now, I guess I gotta, hold on a sec, I gotta plug my compressor back in. Apparently I'm gonna need that here in a bit, so I don't know how much. It's probably gonna get in the way here. Hopefully not, because it's got no air in it anyway. There we go. Hopefully it doesn't suck up a bunch of air, because otherwise the compressor is going to cut in. But otherwise, yeah, I just get enough of this Murphy lube on here and make sure she's well lubed. And now we'll just stick her through the hole here. Maybe. There we go. She's on there. Like I said, like I find this here Murphy lube, like it even says like rust inhibitor added, so you don't get the corrosion, and lubricates all rubber parts, stop rubber squeaking, and but dresses up tires, formats, and whatever. But yeah, otherwise I do find it works really good as far as putting or keeping the tires and the rims from corroding, like, because I've had some with 10 years on them and still no problems. So I just goop this stuff onto the rim here, make sure it's well lubed. Like I said, you'd be pretty hard pressed. That's why I don't want soapy water here, because just the water itself, if you got any moisture like that, at least this here's got corrosion inhibitor in it. But otherwise what will end up happening, you start getting corrosion from the inside out and rot out your rims. So that's why I tend to stay away from just plain soapy water. And like I slowly thin this stuff out, it dries out over time, but you add just a little bit of water, but it's got all the rust inhibitor, and I've never had a corroded rim after using this stuff. So And you got to figure this little bucket. I think I've got a big bucket now, but I think it lasted me about 10 years. And I do a fair amount of tires, like between the implements and vehicles, you get flat tires, and it's the only reason why I bought the tire machine to begin with. Okay, so I'll bring the tire up here and get that lubed up good. I already cleaned up the bead on the tire itself, so it had a chance. It actually conditions the rubber. It actually leaves a kind of almost a smooth, soft finish. But yeah, now just make sure I get lots of lube on there. I don't know why everybody's got to be so shy about it, ripping up the tires and whatnot. Yeah, because I kind of thinned it out a bit because I was dealing with tractor tires yet, which I gotta put my 4 new tires on because my little repair job I did back in the winter, it's starting to kind of give out, but it did make it for getting my bales picked and whatnot, so I'm kind of happy with that. Oh, getting too old for this stuff. Hey, let's see if you're gonna go on there. Alright, that goes on a whole lot easier than that came off, I'll tell you. Let's miss the valve stand here. Okay, let's go. Oh yeah, sure. Hold on. I need something to kind of grip that just a little bit. Got such stiff sidewalls on here, it just doesn't want to slip on. Just kind of clear my valve stem here. So I'll just grab it with my fencing pliers, just enough to hold it down. And there, away she goes. Well, that was easy. With sticker in there. Peel that thing out of there. Yeah, I don't have this thing locked down on here because otherwise when it pops onto the bead, it's going to fly off on me. Yeah, I'm going to get my valve core tool here. And forgot to pull the valve core out of my new stem here, so we'll just pull that out. Oh, apparently it was already airing up. How about that? Now this will be just a little faster. But see, I don't have the issue with it seating the beads either. Yeah, she's going to probably splash me in the face here. It's only got 10 pounds in it. I know it's... There we go. Usually splashes me in the face. Yeah, it definitely seems to make a huge difference. Like when I put this stuff on, like I don't have the corrosion and stuff like that, so I don't understand why even tire shops are trying to be so chintzy. Yeah, you can hear the Murphy lube there kind of squishing out in places. But I do find this stuff's a lot easier to seat the beads too because it's so slippery. And it's actually good for your hands too. It actually works wonders. If I got dry hands, yeah, my hands are a little dirty right now. But as soon as I clean them, they'll be actually kind of soft. Now I just got to crank her up to about 44. Like I said, I've never had a bead leak using this Murphy's lube, so yeah. Not a sponsor, nothing, bought it with my own money years ago, but it's kind of one of those things. I kind of swear by it, and yeah, I mean, I say, you know, they want to kind of support me or something like that, but don't have enough subscribers yet, so that ain't gonna happen. We got her at 44. That's close enough. I'll double check it to the other tires, but yeah, just make sure my core is in there tight. Like I said, like even the back side here, just kind of move you here for a second. Like I said, like even the back side, no problem seating the beads. Like it didn't even pop on the back side here because of the long taper, but the top side you got that little bit of a ledge in there. But still, not much effort to deal with these. And yeah, if the tires are sitting on a pile, you end up needing to bead blaster sometimes, but not very often with these style of rims. They're usually pretty good. As long as you got them well lubed and it kind of goes on pretty even. Like I said, like I don't worry too much about balancing big tires like this, running the gravel all the time, because I picked out a half a cup of rocks on here when I was checking for any other leaks. And so that was about a good quarter pound, almost a third of a pound of rocks that I picked out of the tire. So what's the point of the balancing? Now when you're collecting that many rocks on the aggressive treads like this. But anyways, you know, like, yeah, I could check it for leaks, but I can pretty much guarantee there's not going to be a bead leak now because I cleaned everything up. And I already know the tire itself doesn't have any leaks anywhere else. So we're just going to leave it at that, and I'm just going to go put it back on the truck now, and of course it's dark, so get it ready to go. And I said this video may come out after the auction, but it doesn't matter. But still, just for all those guys using that bead sealer, you know, and these weights with the metal clips on them, I don't know why to use them on aluminum rims. Like, they should know better. But that bead sealer, I have no use for it. Like, I know my son and my friend had problems with the bead sealer too, and this one had a little bit of bead sealer, but it didn't stop the corrosion from happening from those metal clipped lead weights. But to put on like that many ounces on opposite sides, like, I know the tires aren't that, because I run it when on jack stands a lot of the time I had in the shop, and the tires are tracking true. They're not wobbling all over the place. But yeah, just it's probably a case that when they put that bead sealer on, it's not enough lube, and maybe it throws the tire out of kilter. So all of a sudden they got this idea in their head, instead of reseating the bead, they just throw the weights to it. So I'll probably have less of a shake now than I did to start with. But anyways, if you kind of like the stuff, you know, just kind of a heads up for anybody using that bead sealer. Like, if you can stay away from it, you know, I would go with that Murphy lube. You know, some people use grease on tires. Don't use that, because the grease actually eats the rubber, and then you're going to have tire failure. But this stuff conditions the rubber. And if you actually dilute it with water and you wipe down your tires, It's actually a nice tire shine, and it actually prevents kind of conditions of rubber. It doesn't crack as much. Like these here tires are, yeah, they're getting close to their expiry date, but there's no signs of cracks on them. A little bit on the face, but nothing on the sidewalls because I've wiped them down a few times. And then whatever's left on my rims, I'll just wipe the side of the tire down again. But anyways, so we'll catch you guys in the next one, and thanks for watching this far. We'll talk to you guys later.